From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Wakers, pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debated destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanest Nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in disguise. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. To reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan out as crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined where was next. Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the largest to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is, and as you should know, you are Under the Groove. All right, here I am, and there you are, man. Welcome to Under the Groove Podcast, everybody. It's good to be here. Today is better than yesterday. Trust and know that. You got to. If you don't, hey, man, you're not really focusing. You're not really putting in that work, But yeah, here we are, man. Here I am, and there you are. Good to see you up in here, B60, man. Oh, man, what a day. What a day. Today, I did a couple of things I think are significant. Whether or not the type of results are yielded from it, yet to be seen, I did a video on Under the Groove addressing our brothers and sisters on social media and the shit they be doing, man. That shit is crazy. I didn't use no names other than 12 Adam and Lad V, you know what I mean? But overall, man, there seems to be that this fucking internal subversion jumping off, man, with our people, man, against each other. The shit is crazy to me. I don't understand it. Being that we're in a situation in this day and time, 2026, and shit is all bad for us more than anybody else. And yet, these brothers with, these channels, these platforms, man, rather than them dispensing truth to power to the brothers, trying to empower brothers and sisters, elevate, educate, those things that matter. And they on there talking about yin yang, man. Frivol, gossip mongering and all this shit, Brothers are getting swept up by the police, catching major cases and shit. None of them seem to realize the reason for that is because you're putting yourself out there. The rhetoric, the things you talk about attracts the wrong kind of attention. You know what I mean? That's some bad business, man. That's bad business. And my thing, I'm just speaking truth to power, man. I don't control no one, but I like to be a voice of reason. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of us being voices of reason, man, especially when we see our people going about doing things ass backwards. You know what I'm saying? Again, none of these individuals, man, or the communities, the neighborhoods, the sets they come from, run nothing, have anything, and yet they garner this following, of thousands of our brothers and sisters, thousands, And rather than lead them to something constructive, something positive, beneficial, something that would, impart empowerment to them, and they lead them to destruction with the shit they talk. They get their hits and clicks, man, off of disparaging, disrespecting, doing all that shit, man. Again, man, this is some internal subversion type shit. Man, they didn't took up the mantle, man, of the reins of the master, and they riding this steed into the ground with this BS, man. Master ain't got to do shit no more, but watch his work unfold, and these brothers, you can't tell them jack, man, because they swear they get in the bag, man. They swear, man, that they somebody as a result of this BS we see being dispensed to the youth. Again, they all these followers, man, where y'all leading them to? What are you leading them to? This shit is shameful, But yeah, man, I went in and I dropped a little piece, man, about 20 minutes. And I just spoke truth to power. I ain't disrespect nobody. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't do that. If I have an issue with you and we can't sell it, mano a mano, man to man, face to face, I don't deal with it, man. But again, man, I think we all have an obligation to speak truth to power, to call a duck, man, a spade, man, and an ace, man. Whenever we have, you ain't got to have the opportunity to do it, but whenever you are exposed to some BS, you're supposed to call it BS, man. And we don't do enough of that, so that is, man. That being said, also, I sat down today and I put together a little piece, man, that I'm going to present in the next couple of days, and hopefully it goes over well with the HNCs, hopefully it goes well, man. But again, that remains to be seen. I'm not too much worried about the piece I put out, whether or not it get hits and all that stuff. I don't trip that. I don't trip that. My focus is more about more along the lines of, okay, did somebody see it? It can be 10, 20, it could be 100, it can be 200. Did they see it? Did they get it? That's all that matter, man. And it don't cost you nothing to check it out. It don't cost you nothing to check it out except for a like and a share. That's it. That's it. That's all, man. So again, man, that was my day. Other than the other things I do in my day, I took care of that. Now that I'm here, man, I'd like to say first and foremost to the queens and kings, our goddesses and gods, man, our sisters and our brothers, man, peace and prosperity. It's a grand rising. Make the most of it. Do what the hell we're supposed to do in this time that we have, because you don't know when the clock's gonna stop ticking. You know what I'm saying? We're in a time, man, where they're coming after us, man. They are coming after us, man. And don't think for a minute that that's some hyperbole, that, that's a bluff, that's some conspiracy theorist type shit. They are coming after us, gun blazes and everything else, and they're only able to do this. They're only capable of doing this because we're not paying attention. We're not focused on the focus. There's so much hoopla going about, man, in terms of the black race, us as a unit. Oh, they're still in the vote. Yeah, you know why? Because those we sent to the halls of power didn't take care of their business, if you ask me. Oh, they're this and they're that. Yeah, okay, yeah, man. What did you expect? Oh, man, the Mexicans are saying this and that. What do you expect? What do you expect, man? When these other demographics, man, and ethnicities start, taking off on you, unloading both barrels of the shotgun on you. What do you expect when you're carrying on in such a way to make others think, man, fuck them? They don't even respect them damn selves, They don't give a damn about their own people, themselves. Why should we? Man, we got life and bullshit twisted on our end, man. And that's bad business. That's bad business. Trust me on that. So that being said, man, look, It is what it is, man. And that is, we're not on our game. Period, point blank. We're not on our game. We have brothers, man, in certain positions to where they can say and do things, man, that can change the paradigm economically, socially, educationally, you know, all those things, you know, all those things, man. But they're not willing to do that because, again, we have a lot of us, man. There are a lot of us who tend to think for self, and they tend to think that what they're doing for self sets them up. You know, they look good, they proper, they straight. The reality is, man, that's not true. That's not true. You know, all that is delusion, self-delusion, you know. Real spit, man. Real spit. All right, so let's get it on, man. Like I said, man, when I come in here, man, we drop this, you know, I say what I say right quick, get it out the way. And the RGC coming in, we do our thing, man. All right. I do have a clip for us today. I found it very, very insightful. It gives you an understanding in terms of what we see. It addresses symbolism, you know, these certain symbols we see, you know, especially atop the heads of a lot of people that aren't like us, you know. I just learned today where a lot of that shit came from. And it's deep. I found it to be very insightful, like I say, very educational and informative. So much so that I wanted to share this shit, man. I wanted to, those of you who come in and tap in, if just for a few minutes, to see this, you know, just to get an understanding of what it is. Now, there are a couple of things being said about it in terms of our people I don't agree with, but or I have an opinion of. That's neither here nor there. You know, I'm just saying, hey, man, in terms of context, what I want to show you is informative. It is insightful and educational. So, you know, getting a bar of that would mean a lot for the individual. So anytime you get around certain people, man, you'd be able to say, oh, yeah, I know all about that. As a matter of fact, A, B, and C, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know, set some people straight real quick when they think they got the upper hand on you in terms of our identity or their identity and history. You know, the shit is important. It is important. All right. So anyway, man, we up in here. B60 is good to see you, my brother. You say greetings and salutations to you, Bub, and the RGC B1. All right. B1 is Black First. This is where we're dropping the ball that we're not putting us first. Us first. Appreciate you up in here, B60. Peace and prosperity, bro. You and the fam. All right. Real spit. Alonzo said, man, peace to the RGC and you, Bub, and yours. I hope all is well with you and yours. Peace and prosperity right back to you, bro. Everything on this end is everything, you know. We work hard, man, you know, keeping our head above water, man. You know what I mean? We work hard at it, man. But here we are, man. We aren't complaining. We're in this fight, man, you know, and we ain't looking forward to being knocked out, you know. We in this fight. We scrap, man, on this end. We get our scrap in. So we're good, man, and we like to reciprocate, man, that you and yours are well, you know, and that your day so far is everything, man, you made it out to be. You started out the day making something worthwhile. Got a little more time on the clock. It's ticking, though. Hopefully it ends how you see fit, all right? Good to have you in here, Alonzo. Appreciate you, bro. Queen and Zinga say peace and blessings, kings and queens. B1 people, black fist up high. Black first, y'all. Black first. Power is in the people, and we got to push that. We got to be on point with that. We have to accept and take in what that means exactly. We can't keep bull crapping, man, about this thing we call our lives, you know. We got to get on the game, man. Get on the ball. Lonzo continued to say, man, peace to you and Queen and Zinga. I hope all is well with you and yours. All right. Queen and Zinga's doing all right on her end, you know. Oh, that was for Queen and Zinga. I thought you, yeah. Appreciate it. Chris, what it do, man? Peace, prosperity, bro. Good to see you here today, man. He said B1, black first. B1 to be about this blackness first, y'all. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Don't be scared. Lonzo said, man, peace, B60, hollering at you, man. And peace to you as well, Chris. Yeah, that's a good look, man. You know, we typically go into what we go into, and we, you know, hey, man, ain't about catch up, but get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? So I want to drop this clip, man. Just give it a little prep. I want to give it some preference, man. Again, it's about history. It's about what we conceptualize today, or what we see today in society, thinking that this is someone else's culture or tradition. And the truth of the matter is, it is not. It's ours. Again, I learned something today and I want to share it. All right. So I'm about to do that. Share this clip right quick. Now I'm getting in the habit of doing that, right? I want to bring those clips to the forefront that I think are insightful, informative, educational. You know what I'm saying? That gives some credence and understanding and credit to not just our culture, but our history and us as a people, man. So this is why I bring the clips in. I do that for that purpose, All right. So what this say? Hold on. Okay, boom. So yeah, I want to bring this in, man. Oh shit! What the hell just happened? Damn, I hate them when they do this to me. I got it. They almost had me, y'all. All right, let's go in here and get this thing, man. What the hell? I can't get this piece out of here. All right, no problem.
It's like 24 feet long. It's like these are like great grandkids that.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history so these psychopathic parasites could build their.
All right, man, check it out, right? What you see on top of their heads, those are not hats. Those are not hats, man. I'll leave it at that, man. Get a bar of this.
Fake world. Those Queen's Guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan Khanate in Great Tartary. In advanced Asiatic civilization, they tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibachi nobility, the true Obashis, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Hibachi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were fail melanin, mutants who had to glue animal fur and lamb's wool to their skulls just to mimic the lords they deposed. That's our shit they're cosplaying. When Bob Marley sang about crazy bald heads, he was exposing the castrato class. He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers.
Man, look at that shit, man. Look at that shit, man. Shit, Afro ain't got nothing on that, man. I gotta say, man, that shit is astounding, man, just to see that shit, man. And yeah, me and my ignorance, I'm under the impression that those were hats. When I've seen in the past black faces with that, that atop of their skulls, those crowns, I thought they were hats.
Who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone and their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today, these bloodlines, the Orsini, Medici, and Rothschilds, align with the satanic banking cartels that funded Epstein's List and global human trafficking. It's all part of a gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory of the ancient Moors and Hebrews. The high-status nobility of the millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant of a peak human being. Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair, those massive, beautiful afros, as a sign of supreme status and genetic frequency. They've tried to erase every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair,
internal subversion, man,
is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock, because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock? That's ours. They repurpose your palaces after the historical resets. They wear your crowns and mimic your hair because they know that crown was the mark of a God-man on Earth. These are...
Man, tell me that ain't deep. Shit. You can't tell me that ain't deep, man. You can't tell me that ain't some powerful shit. You know? And to this day, we don't even rock afros no more. You know? And probably back in our day when we did them for all the wrong reasons. You know, we were more of a trend, you know, more of what, you know, well, not necessarily a trend, but style and culture, not really aligning what the significance of the afro represented, you know, aligning it to, you know, us, you know, having an understanding of what it really was about. Hey, man, that's some powerful shit. You know, nowadays our sisters, they perm their hairs, or they cover them with wigs, you know, weaves. Brothers cut their hair off, you know, some grow, you know, locks, which is cool, you know. I'm starting to see the locks now that go straight up, man, and that's some wild shit. You know, when I see brothers with it, I'm trying to comprehend why it's like that, you know. And I had the impression that locks should always, you know, hang down, you know, but shit, man, I've been set straight in that regard. Listen, man, we are in some shit. A lot of what is done to us, man, we don't even know why it's done, but they do. Our crowns, man, we've removed our crowns. You know, our young brothers, like they said, man, like he said, our brothers nowadays go to the barbershop, give them 120, 150 for a cut to cut off our energy, our connection. You know, that's some cold shit, man, if you think about it. Our brothers are quick to get that money up, man, to cut off their connection from the creation or the creator. They are willingly removing their crowns, man. You know, now a lot of us, you know, we can't help it. You know what I mean? That happens, you know. But for those of our brothers and our sisters who intentionally disgrace the crown, man, damn, that's some cold shit. That's some cold shit, man. I'm gonna run that clip again, you know, in an hour or so, because, like I say, man, you know, one of my brothers, man, and I'm not communicating with the brother like I used to, but that's all right. You know, everything happens for a reason. He used to say, man, when some solid shit was said, observed, or whatever the case may be, peace to the gods, man. You know, so I'm gonna say that, man, in full recognition that, man, there's something, man, about us, man, greater than we comprehend, man. You know, peace to the gods, man, that we find out what that is, that we get to the bottom of that. Stop going to these barbershops, man. Stop willingly removing the crown from your head, man. That connection, the part of your nervous system, you know, part of the frequency, man. Stop doing it, brothers. Sisters, stop covering your heads, man, with these wigs and all that other stuff, you know, these perms and these weaves, you know. Let that crown show, man. Represent the crown, man. Represent the crown. All right, man. I appreciate everybody coming up in here, man. You know. All right, Sam Evans, it's good to see you, bro. Peace and prosperity, you know, to you as well. You say we in here, be one black first. No doubt about that. Queen sending out her shots, man, to shoot. She hollering at Zoe, man, sending him his best. And Zoe reciprocate, man. What it do, Chris? He said, man, roots, reality and culture. Reality and culture, y'all. All right. Raymond Scott said, peace and blessings, bub, and salute to the kings and queens in the Royal Group congregation. B1 does equal black first, everybody. Fat Rat, what it do, loved one? I did a piece of, first and foremost, man, peace and prosperity to you, bro. Good to see you up in here, you know, as you do, as you are, man, when we coming in, man, chopping it up. Your presence is appreciated, man. In fact, man, you're needed to be in this space, you know, so seeing you here is a good look. You say peace to you and the RGC, Big Bub. And like I said, man, right back to you, Fat Rat. I did a piece today on the brother Amin Abdullah, you know, and I highlighted his daughter's praise of her father. You know, the brother, you said he's martyred now. You know, yeah, man, that was deep. That was deep, you know. As I said, man, I think I know for a fact I'm going through some transition. I'm kind of anxious to get to it, you know, to find out what it's really all about. But you know, that's gonna happen. The piece, her just speaking about this black man, you know, and what he represented. 8 children, man. 8. And was there, man, you know. That's some beautiful shit to me, you know. So yeah, man, I did that, Fat Rat, and I want to, you know, commend you for even bringing it up, putting it on my brain, you know, for putting it on my brain, man. So appreciate you for that, bro. Appreciate you for that, real spit. You know, Chris said, man, we were heading that way in the 70s, growing our hair in the early 80s with the flat top until crack came into the community. And when that came in, a lot of shit went out the door, went out the window. No doubt about that, man. We started Jerry curling up our shit, and more brothers started processing their shit, you know, laying it flat, man, to have a ponytail. I've done it, you know, back in the days. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. That was a cold game, bro. Again, man. We doing more of this to ourselves now than anyone else had done to us in the past. You know what I mean? There's this internal subversion taking place in our communities, man. Our people, man, are assisting in the destabilization, man, of our communities, of ourselves, as well as our communities. And it's a sickness, man. We got to do something about this shit. So again, I did go in today and I did a piece for Under the Groove podcast, and I spoke directly to brothers who have platforms, channels on social media, but are doing the opposite of what they should be doing. I didn't name any names. That ain't my get down. I don't get down like that. But I wanted these brothers to understand that, hey, man, you guys are aiding and abetting all that ails us. You know, you brothers not helping us to grow, man, to create, to evolve, you know, to be empowered, man. You brothers, man. And the coldest part about all this shit with these brothers on these social media sites is that they all are always at one another's throats. Always. I have yet to hear any of the, and I don't gotta name nobody, man. Y'all know. Not one of them brothers have done something positive or created or dispensed, put before the people positive content. Not one. It's always about who they hate, who they gonna get down with, who died, who gonna die, who went to jail, who's on their way to jail, who snitched, who got snitched on. Some cold stuff, man, that's happening. Not only that, but a lot of these brothers who go and sit with 12 Adam and Lad V TV, most of these brothers, they not seeing this shit. They ended up in jail. I think that's as a result of them talking too much. And especially about shit or issues, concerns, or people they have no business talking about. No business talking about nobody else's business on social media. But let them tell it, this is their hustle. This is how they get their bag. You know, they not realizing that them people be on the other end listening to everything they say. Listening to what type of information they're dropping. And then finding a way to align them with that, you know, that information with whatever case might be pending, you know. They don't even see that shit. Sad shit, man. Sad shit, man. I have to say, you know, I have to say. And so I say to them brothers and to each and every one of you, man, when is enough enough? When do we say, all right, man, you know what? We got to call a duck, a spade, and an ace, man. We have to start speaking out about this shit that we know is a problem in our communities and on our streets. These brothers are misleading our youth, man. They're not helping our youth, man, to attain no type of knowledge that's worthwhile that they can actually apply, man, and become better men in these communities, not just for the community, but themselves and their families. This is what these dudes are against. That's it, man. There's no other way to describe that. They are against being men, being representatives of men. These dudes' actions, man, are more effeminate than they are masculine. You know what I mean? And that's some sad shit. But you can't tell them that. They in their feelings. They get offended when you say, man, that's broad shit. No disrespect to the sisters, you know, but they know what we mean. That's broad shit, man. To be always gossiping about another man. That's funny shit. It's funny shit. It's police shit. It's a whole lot of shit that it could be labeled. It could be labeled a whole lot of shit. This shit doesn't help the people, man. But they get this following. They build it. Thousands, tens of thousands of our brothers and sisters. They get them to follow them. And the question should be, where y'all leading them to? In what direction are you taking them, man? It's some real shit, y'all. In this day and time, and this is what we doing. It's some sad shit. Man, I mean that shit. I mean that shit. And I'm not trying to compare myself to no other individual, especially in that light, you know, from the streets, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's relevant, man. But I'm saying, man, that ain't no real shit, man. If you're doing that shit, man, that's not being a stumped down real individual. That's not being a man. Straight up, you know. And again, man, I've said this before. I've been saying this shit for 2 years, man. If the shoe fit, wear it, man. And if you're proud of what you're doing, man, we'll know, because you'll keep doing the same shit you've been doing. Sad shit, man. Hurting the community, especially our young ones, man. Feeding them, man, cancer. Toxic, man. Brothers are toxic. And I have to say that, man. And I say it unapologetically. I mean that shit. You hear brothers talking about, oh, man, I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about it one time and leave it alone. Man, don't talk about it at all. Half y'all act like y'all don't know that these brothers who get caught up did that shit to themselves. Just based on the content, bro. And the shit they will allow to come out their mouths. You want to talk about free so-and-so? Man, no, man. That brother, those sisters, whoever, man, should have been wise enough to keep themselves from being captured. How you do that? You avoid that bullshit. Again, man, ain't nobody paid attention. Most of the brothers who were celebrities, you know, in that, you know, that light, you know, influencers, you know, talking that shit on that level that, you know, we hear a lot of our brothers talking. They're in jail, man. They're in jail. Half of them can't even roam the streets openly. They're in danger. And they're not realizing they're doing this shit to themselves. And cats want to be talking about free so-and-so free. No, man. Matter of fact, get him out the way, man. Get him out the way, man. And anybody that follow that shit or down with that shit, I'm going to get out the way, man. That space needs to be utilized, man, for something more positive and productive for our people, man. Yeah, I know a lot of them don't want to hear this shit because they swear they get in the bag. They swear it. Don't even realize they rubbing elbows with the police, man. In cahoots with master. Don't even realize that shit. Willing to sell out, man. No principles, no integrity, no morals. Sad shit, bro. This is why we don't know our history. This is why we can't identify with our identity. Why we don't know what we brought to the world, man, as a people. Because we on stupid shit. We're too willing to allow ourselves to be misled and bamboozled. And not only that, but more than willing to share with our brothers and sisters the same bullshit you've been imbibing and eating and shit now. Misery loves company, man. That's some cold shit. Let me get up in this thing, man. Shit. All right, man. Shit. Queen and Zinga say, well, that might work if you have a head full of hair, but that ain't gonna happen for the spotted scalp. LOL. Like I said, yeah, some of us are unable. So imagine them, hey, let it grow anyway. You know what I mean? You know, it had that patch missing right there in the center or up front or whatever. You know, I don't know. And it's tripped me out. I've seen a lot of brothers actually they aren't thinking twice about it. They still let it grow, you know? And, you know, now that I think about it, they know something I don't. You know, what I do now, you know what I mean? Now, that's not to say I've gotten to that point where, you know, hey, you know, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Thanks for that, Queen and Zinga. Fat Rat said, man, right. I saw that piece. His one daughter just graduated in college. Highest form of sacrifice. What we do, bub. Man, there's no greater sacrifice, man, than to give your life over for the well-being and the defense and protection of your people. There's no greater sacrifice, man. I swear, I sat there and I looked at that get down, man, and I said, damn, man, that would be the way to go. That would be the way to go. You know, no fear, man. You know, just the thought to protect, man. You know, to make sure young lives survive, you know, that our people are okay. That is the way to go. That's a man. That's a man. Those were men, you know, who should be martyred, you know, who should be celebrated, labeled as heroes. I can't tell you how many individuals in that moment would have stood their ground, man. I don't know, you know. I don't know. But that's some real life shit right there, man. There's no greater sacrifice on the face of the earth than to turn your life over for the lives of your people. Memoriam, those individuals, that brother especially, will live throughout time, man. You know, some real powerful shit, y'all. Some real powerful shit. Yeah. Lisa Moore says, Grand Rising, Brother Bub. Blessings to you and the family. Peace and love to the queens and kings in the RGC. B1 is Black First. Peace and prosperity to you, sister. Good to see you up in here, our queen. May everything be everything with you and yours. And like I was telling Lonzo, there's still time in the day to make it how you want it to be. You know what I mean? So, you know, that always should be a work in progress until you lay down to go visit the ancestors. You know what I mean? You know, at the end of the day, make sure you leave it all, man, in the atmosphere, you know? So peace to you, sister. Fat Rat said, man, as a youngster, my heroes were gangsters and hustlers. That fascination will become my personal MO. I guess others of us aspire to be Larry King, Jerry Dunphy, Alexander Monday, LOL. Don't know. I don't know, bro. But yeah, imagine all of the real ones assigned to the security of our separation territories. Man, that was a warrior of the highest caliber, man. And you know, I have to say though, Fat Rat, that's my aspiration. To defend my people with my life if necessary. Yeah. My family, especially. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you, bro. I understand where you're coming from. You know, yeah. Some of our heroes back then, man, yeah, man, didn't deserve, man, the time of day. But hey, you know, that's how we came up. And as we transition through life, man, we come to know real life black men, you know, men, black men who needed to be revered, you know, praised even, put on a pedestal based upon their actions as black men, what they did, with their lives, for the sake of the people. That's some powerful shit, man. There's no greater sacrifice, man, than giving your life for your family, man, for the people, man. We don't give the likes of Fred Hampton all that he deserves, man. We don't give him that. Even Malcolm, we don't give him that. Under fire, man. We're under fire, man, and knew that the odds were against them. Knew they were fighting the establishment, man. So many of them. Nat. I mean, come on, man. We go on and on to the break of dawn, man. Y'all know. They're not revered the way they should be. A lot of our heroes, man, are unworthy. They are unworthy. We have to do something about that, man. That's our responsibility, man. I'm just saying, man. So yeah, there that is, man. And listen, this shit is happening. in terms of what's going on in the world regarding us, this shit is really happening. And our people need to see that shit. We need to not only see it, but to try to get an understanding of why it's happening. So that, man, we be prepared, man, to get involved. To get involved, man. Get involved. Shit. Real spit, man. That's the business. Tell you, man, I shit. Some cold shit, man. Cold shit, man. Okay, I ain't gonna play that. That's neither here nor there. Yeah, man. So I don't know. This day is gonna be, like I said, man, this goes for each and every one of us. It's gonna be what we make of it, what we apply to it. That will determine at the end of it when we lay to, get a little slumber, a little rest. We'll be, we apply ourselves, man. At the end of the day, we should be able to determine how that day panned out for us. Did we, give our all in an effort to make it not just as enjoyable or pleasurable, but as meaningful, as it should have been. You know what I mean? This is a work in progress, man, regardless, man. And I don't care what front you on or you are on. I think that still applies. That applies. I don't know. Talked to a couple of originals today and send a shout out, man, to Big H from Harlem, Sam Ransom, man, from Hoover, man. Respect you, brothers, and love you dearly, man. Appreciate you, appreciate everything I've learned from you, and I appreciate what you're doing with your lives today, man. That means a great deal. You guys are out there. You're out there, man. You're putting in the work. You're putting in the work. Great example, man, for the people and the youth. Great example, man. And so, yeah, everybody don't want to be saved, man. Everybody do not want to be helped, assisted, or supported. Some of them are stuck in that mindset, bro. You know what I'm talking to, right? And that being the case, man, then, as long as we made the attempt to reach these brothers and sisters, man, we should be all right. with going on to those individuals, or moving on to those individuals who not only want, need, or seek that guidance, man, you know, that help, that direction, that mentorship, man, you know, those individuals, man, should be given, you know, all the credit in the world, and we should continue to support them. They see the signs, they recognize this shit, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. So, hey, man, I hear you loud and clear, G. It ain't for everybody. Everybody don't want it. Everybody don't want it. All right. So you can't do nothing about it. Keep putting in the work, though. Keep putting in the work, man. Because a lot of our brothers and sisters, excuse me, they want to be laced. They want the guidance. They want to be mentored. They want to be exposed to the histories, to the experiences, man, that a lot of us have. They want to be exposed to them so that they know what traps to avoid, what pitfalls to step over or go around. You know, that's why y'all here, man. So recognize that what you're doing, man, it's above board. It's above board. It's commendable. You know, so I love you for that, bro. And go for both of you brothers. Henry Sadello, what it do, man? He said, peace and blessings, family. Salute to everyone, Brother Bub. One love, man. One love, one people. You know, unity. Good to see you up in here, Henry, man. Peace and prosperity to you and your fam, bro. It's good to see you here. You know, again, you guys' presence make this thing everything. Make it everything, man. You know. Oh, man. I wish I could go. And I wish I can go and play. Well, I got home kind of late, so I wasn't able to set up like I really wanted to. But that's all right. That's all right. I have everybody here, man. Our brothers and sisters gonna come in like they supposed to. You know? And so it's okay. It's okay. And give it about another 30 minutes before I drop that clip again. But anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening in the world, man. And again, a lot is going on. Again, our people are under fire, you know. Wars being waged against us, man. And for the most part, man, a lot of us don't see it. We don't get it or don't care. You know, I'll go out on a limb and say that. Some of us don't even care. You know what I mean? You know, as long as, you know, they think that they're winning, that's all that matters. You know, I was saying also, man, in the Get Down today, that most of what we profess to have and own, it's not even ours. Even if you use that paper money to buy it, it's not yours. You know, you own nothing, especially if you haven't done the work to own it. You know, they run everything. They have everything. We're just here, man, to serve them, to service them, you know. Or our main purpose, one of our main purposes is to work for them and, you know, work for them, get the money and spend it, give it right back to them, you know, really to put ourselves deeper into debt. That's the whole, that's the program, you know, that's the program. And that's the part that don't sit well with me. Trust me on that. That don't sit well with me, you know. I don't know who else that don't sit well with, but I'm talking about me, Bub. I don't like that shit one flying flick, man. You know, here we are, 2026, and I'm telling you, we still do not get that we are slaves. You know, a lot of us tend to think that we're free. Oh, the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation freed us. No, it wasn't, man. It was just a proclamation, man. That wasn't law. It had nothing to do with law, man. That was just a statement made in public. You know? That shit ain't got nothing to do with nothing, man. You know, and the Constitution don't have anything to do with anything as far as we're concerned. In spite of what they tell us, that's all cap. But we're in a situation, man, where we run nothing. We built everything, but we own none of it. We own none of it. We built it, all of it. And we don't own none of it. We create cultures that anybody could come and usurp, commandeer, take, claim as their own, make money off of it. And we don't get none of that shit. Come on, y'all. We get nothing. Everybody want to be us. Well, act like us, dress like us, do what we do. And they profit off of it. Everybody profits off of it except us. Something's wrong with that picture, man. We should be in a position or mindset to say, wait a minute, something ain't right. How the hell we don't own our shit? It's crazy. But it's the truth. We're more concerned with posing, fronting, looking the part. When in reality, man, we own nothing. We have nothing. But we'll play the role. And we do it. It's the oddest thing, man. We do it to either impress or belittle our own. That's some crazy shit, right? You trying to impress or belittle somebody who you ain't got no more than to begin with. You're in no better position. And we say this about those who call themselves super rich, even billionaires. You own nothing. And this is why they stay in their place. This is why you'll never hear them speak against the system. This is why, because they realize they've been told, actually, they own nothing. They're just in borrowed space. This is why you never hear from them. And if you do, they know, do not become extreme. Don't say too much. Sometimes some of them can say, just enough because they've been okay. It's been sanctioned for them to say that shit. But they know, they've been told, do not go overboard. Do you hear me? And trust and know, they nod. Yes, sir. It's probably the response as well. Or you don't got to worry about that. I got it. I know what to do. That type of thing, right? That should tell us something, man. Our brothers and sisters, man, who are up there, they got it. Billions, worth billions. But they can't speak out. They can't speak up. Why? This shit should be evident to each and every one of us. We should all understand why they are silent, why they remain silent, I recall some political commentator, this pundit lady, she spoke about LeBron. He wanted to speak about Black Lives Matter, right? And the coldest part, this is when he got put in check too, right? Trip though. He spoke about the Black Lives Matter incident when they were playing basketball in the bubble, when the COVID thing was jumping off. And he said something in regards to, George Floyd. This female, this Caucasian political pundit, her response to him was, shut up and just dribble. Right? His response was not tantamount to the assault from this female, but he made some some old statement, whatever. But notice he hasn't said anything else out of line about nothing. He hasn't. He hasn't stepped to the plate and spoke in support of the people. Someone came down and struck up on his house, wrote the N-word on it, you know. And I think that was another part of him coming to terms with still nobody as far as they're concerned. You know, still nobody, man. Okay, how much money we can gave you, we can take that, but you're nobody unless we make you somebody. And I think that's the problem with the majority of them. They're told, stay in your place, do sports, play football, play basketball, play baseball, you know, play tennis, you know, run track, play soccer, but shut the hell up. If not, we'll take that shit. We'll take every dime, you know. And if you found some way to keep this, you know, this perception of wealth, we'll put your ass in jail and kill you. This is why our people don't speak out, man. They're in fear. They're in fear of a few things, of losing what they call wealth, their freedom, or their lives, or the lives of somebody in their family. Most of them don't really give a flying flick because they've already made sacrifices. You know, they've already sacrificed family. You know, and when we see this shit play out on in the media where they're going against the record execs and they're saying this, that, and that, this shit is all a ploy, man. It's a front, man. It's a front. Because the fact of the matter is, man, to go against the system, man, that means then you can't make money in the system. And that's what they want more than anything else, man, to make money. They're not going to go against that, bro. They're not going to go against that. And again, a lot of shit is created, is manufactured to look a certain way, to garner support and sympathy for these, you know, black men and women who are actually a part of the system. You know, it's to make them, you know, or to, you know, have us, you know, feel for them while they continue to do the job of the master. That's that internal subversion, you know, those tactics, that shit they do and they say in the community, of the community, about the community, that destabilizes the community. That's the business. That's the business. You know? Al Thomas, what it do, bro? He says, salutations to you, bub, and everyone in RGCB1, man. Peace and prosperity right back to you and the sons, man. Good to see you in here, man. Good to see you in here, brother. I don't know if you caught or got a bar the clip I showed about 30 minutes or so ago, but never, you know, never mind. Doesn't matter. I'll show it again in a little bit. But good to have your presence, bro. Donald Matthews, what it do? He says, Steen, greetings, my brother. Where there is no unity, there could never be strong, or let's say strength. So until we come together as a people, our situation will continue. And I tell you guys, there are those, man, that come from us, that they even say they're a part of us, man, who are actually in cahoots with those who need to keep us a certain way, to keep us in disunity or not unified. You know what I mean? There are those, man, that they work for that bring shit to the community, that's brought to the community to divide and rule or divide and conquer. You know what they do is they lace our brothers and sisters, man, with these ideologies, man. These detrimental, man, behaviors to keep us destabilized. A lot of our brothers and sisters participate in this shit every day. And again, from the top of the top to the bottom, none of them will speak against the system. They're more prone to speak in support of the system. And they do that by talking about each other, you know, destroying one another, disrespecting one another, hating themselves and each other. This is how this shit is done. Then again, we have the super rich, and their job is just to keep us in control, to keep us torn queue, report back to their handlers, their masters, and say, everything's good. We got it. Don't worry. I got this. And that's what they do. You know, that's what they do. So don't think for a minute, man. This shit is by, just out of nowhere. You know what I mean? No, this shit is all manufactured. It's by design. And those who participate with this system, man, they understand that. They're with it. They don't have a problem with it. Don't have a problem with it. They should, but they don't. They should, but they don't. Yeah, so it's good to see you up in here, Donald. And again, man, peace, prosperity, you and the fam, bro. Good to have you. Yeah, I don't know, man. When we think about our celebrities, right? We think about all of our brothers and sisters who are capable or have the ability to improve communities, to do for communities, man. When we think about that, man, all those individuals, you have to think about what their involvement in the community could possibly bring to the youth in the community more than anybody else, right? More than anyone else. When you think about, man, what they can actually do for the community, the youth in the community, man, is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling when you put your finger on, man, the possibilities. And then it's also mind-boggling to understand and come to the realization that they don't care to do that. They care to keep what they have, keep it going. And it concerns what they got going on does not concern not even the youth, the children. It's about them. A lot of them are involved in a lot of this weird, this shit going on behind closed doors. Trust that. A lot of them are in on that shit, that Epstein shit, And again, I have to say Epstein was just one of many. There are a whole lot of Epsteins. And it's some sad shit, man, that's taking place, man, especially that's taking place with some of our people's involvement. That's some sad shit. After everything we've been through, they rather do this. Poke Mitchell, man, Poke Mitchell Podcast TV. What's happening, bro? Good to see you up in here, man. 3 times, man. Love you, bro. Man, he said, man, what it do, bub? That was a strong message to our people earlier about those podcasts and podcasters that have been tricked to put us deeper in the hole. Great job, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you taking your time, man. Check that out, man. Again, you guys, you get time, go check it out. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, my responsibility is not to do exactly what they're doing. I ain't got no business naming their name. That ain't where they're supposed to go anyway. You know what I mean? But I do have an obligation, man, to call a strike, man, and let brothers and sisters know, man, you're causing more harm than you are, helping to improve or empower the people. You're destroying the people. You're not building them up. So yeah, I think that's something we should all want to do, if we have the time to do it or the platform to do it, it should be done. I had no problems with that. And I'm committed. I'm committed, little do they know, of doing this thing more often, And again, though, I'll refrain from that name shit, man. I ain't with all that. But yeah, I'm going to put it out there, man. I'm going to put it out there for the people to hear, man, so that they understand, man, there's something better than this bullshit. So that's going to be new in the itinerary. Trust me. Trust me on that one. And so again, man, peace, prosperity to you, Pope, man. Appreciate you up in here today. Donald said, man, so being that we are aware of our situation, what are we going to do about it? We say a lot. However, we do very little. And we just had that conversation, Donald. I don't know if you were privy to it last night, the night before, last week. I think that there are brothers who are part of the RGC, who come and give Under the Groove podcast the time of the day, who do their due diligence in terms of what you're talking about, who go out, man, and try to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? I'm fairly new to it, but hey, I was just telling the people, ain't no sense in me not throwing my hat in that ring. You know what I mean? So, in terms of me just talking about it, I'm you know, there's some things I'll be doing in coming days, you know, in the coming hours where I'm involved. You know, I'm involved. I think that's necessary. What you're saying is actually necessary. We could talk about it. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. But we need to start mapping out, not just mapping out, but executing, you know, these discussions, bringing them into fruition, you know. So we're in agreement with you on that, no doubt. We are in agreement with you on that. So yeah, we could continue to talk about it, but let's get involved. Let's become active, proactive. I got you, bro. I got you, or we got you. And again, there are a lot of brothers, I think, in this get down and sisters who involve themselves. You know, I think though too, on the surface, it looks like, you know, yeah, man, just a lot of talk. We're not getting nothing done. Nothing is happening. I don't know. In a way, I beg to differ, because I think that if you look at how a lot of our brothers and sisters are coming to terms or becoming conscious, put it like that. I sometimes hate saying woke, but a lot of our brothers and sisters are waking up in the sense that they are getting out there and they're talking about those things to those individuals that these discussions need to be had with, so that they can start bringing together solutions. And we see the work manifesting itself. They're in the communities. They're working towards bringing shit together. You know, other states are more proactive about it than we are here in California. That's for damn sure. You know, but we like to, you know, those of us who this thing matters to, you know, who have actually stake in this, you know, we're working on that. You know, we're working on that, man. But our people are waking up to the point, or in the sense that they are now out there and they're getting shit done. So when we talk about, hey man, something's things are changing, something's happening, that's real, man. That's real. Something is happening, positive, something concrete is taking place with our people, man. Yeah, we, by all means, you're right, we need to get involved. You know, more than just talking about it, we need to get involved. So yeah, this shit is happening, man. Tell you what's going on. Appreciate your comment, bro. Appreciate you. Folks say, man, salute to the best live at UTG and the best team congregation, the RGC. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, everybody. Do you believe it? You should. Because we wasted so much of it. Look at our predicament. Yeah, I think that's valid, man. There's some validity into that, man. If we waste, you know, our mind power, our brain power, our ability, man, to outthink, outdo, outlast, you know, all others, yeah, man, we're going to waste away, you know. If we don't utilize, man, these gifts, these abilities, superheroes, man, we don't even know how to flex our talents or our power. But if we continue to not understand what that is and not focus on the focus, yeah, we'll continue to waste away. So mine is a terrible thing to waste, and there's proof in that. We have been wasting time, man. We have been not utilizing our brain power, man. And as a result, let's look at our predicament. Look at our predicament. Come on, man. Yeah, I believe it. Shit. Raymond Scholes said, man, we have to begin educating ourselves and our youth, working hard to uplift them and give them a better mindset, as well as examples. You know, we want to couple that mindset. If we want to help them to develop mentally, you know, psychologically, even, you know what I mean, to become conscious, even, you know, then, you know, we got to impart that to them, not train them, but help them to learn, to teach them. We also have to be the example. we also have to be the example. You know, we can't be contradictions, walking contradictions. You know, we can't be straddling the fence, you know, in between negativity and positivity, you know, right and wrong. You know, we can't, you know, want to represent something or something when the right people are around. And then when another class of individuals come around, we got, you know, rah, 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 you know. Yeah, it's more than, yeah, it is the mindset, you know, imparting to these young brothers and sisters, man. Education is key. We need it. But also those who want to educate, yeah, we have to be the example. We have to carry ourselves in such a way that where we're not, you know, we're not exposing bullcrap to them. You know, we're you know what they say, you know, we're not just practicing what we preach, we're living it, you know, we're living it. So I agree with you on that, Raymond Scott. Appreciate you, bro. And peace and prosperity to you and the Rays and your family, brother. Good to see you today. Yeah, I agree, bro. You going to say, Raymond Scott, man, remember, we have a blueprint to work from that was left by our great civil rights leaders. Our main factor in this endeavor would be unity. Unity would give us the power we need to give us hope. All right. We have the DNA. You never lie, man, in that respect, especially when you're talking about those who led in those movements. And we often term them civil rights movements. I like to term them what they really are, human rights, you know, because that was involved more than anything else, human rights, you know. Yeah, man, there's that, right? And there's also this thing, man, to where, you know, that blueprint, man, it's old as Methuselah. You know what I mean? That thing go, hey, man, we have surgeon, man, throughout our cardiovascular system. We have DNA, man, that has experience passed down, man. Some of it traumatic, some of it uplifting, and like you said, some of it very hopeful, you know, but it's in us. We possess it. And yeah, that's what we're supposed to be working off of or working from. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. But what you talking about, man? You should. Oh yeah. All right. Do you believe it? Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should. Shit. Hey man, there's evidence. Look at the evidence. Raymond Scott continues to say, man, how can we build united? How can we be united behind those walls and understand the importance of togetherness? Once we're released, it seems like those values are set aside. Yeah, what is that, right? How is that possible? You know, so then I have to ask, is that real in there? Or does that only matter when you see there's racial tension? Are brothers still in there tripping on each other as well? I think so. You know, I talked to a few brothers in there, man. You know, I do. And the unity is not what it should be. It's not how it used to be. You know, there's animosity still. You know, there's a lot of usury in there, man. You know, a lot of our brothers tend to look at it, you know, at each other as victims, you know, see what they can get out of them, see what they can take from them, and, you know, a whole lot of shit. That unity that you're speaking about, though, I think that is only, it's only imperative. It only comes into play when they know for a fact there's some racial tension. Somebody done something they weren't supposed to do and it's about to go down. So brothers know, okay, boom, you know. But in any respect, man, it's supposed to always be that way. Not just in times of war or warfare, you know. It should be that time. It should be that way in that sub society or community where brothers got each other's back regardless. I don't care if it's a soup, a stamp, you know, or just some sound advice, you know, an ear that you're lending. That should always be that, man. you know? And if it's like that, if that's really real and it's true, I mean, it's taking place like that inside those walls. It's done correctly. It's done correctly. They would come home, man, correct. They would. So, you know, something needs to be done there. Needs to be work there, you know. There needs to be work done inside those walls, man, with our brothers, man. That would be a great example to set, you know, for brothers and sisters out here when they, you know, are able or, you know, are fortunate enough to come from behind them, to bring with them that structure. That would change a whole lot as well. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, man. So why they set them aside, those values? Because of the toxicity out here, man, you know? Because of this cancer out here, man. And for the most part, this cancer, it's an individual cancer. But it metastasizes, spreads to all the other brothers, and they end up getting it too. Ain't that funny, right? Or you know, crazy. You know, this cancer exists out here in our brothers, man. So when them brothers get out, man, they running into or they're coming into contact with brothers who are cancerous. And they're telling them, forget that, man. You ain't in there no more. That shit don't apply out here. You know? So they infect them brothers, man. They infect them. But the coldest part about that whole process is not the fact that those brothers leave that structure, if such a structure exists, come out here, man, and forget about it or peer pressured into forgetting about it. The thing is, man, damn, they got out and they going right back to the shit that more than likely put them in. That's the real issue. That's the real issue, man. You know? So we're talking about combating a mindset, you know, that exists when their feet hit the pavement here. Day one. How do we deal with that? How do we help them? You know? Because again, man, a lot of them brothers, they come up, man, you see it every day, man. You had a couple of brothers, man, you know, so-called internet celebrities, whatever, go and do their time, man, come home, man, and boom, you know, the back and forth again, right back doing, you know, and don't no good come from that shit. But see, here's the thing. What did those brothers have to come home to other than what they thought they built and left behind? So they think, okay, one more go at it, man. I'm gonna go all in this time. I gotta get it, you know, Come home and you got to participate in that same shit. You know, that same shit. I don't know, man. You know, how's that possible? I agree. How is that possible for brothers to do that? To be in there under some form of structure where brothers have to be brothers because you're outnumbered and the animosity and hatred for you is thick, right? But then you come home and you disregard all that. The values no longer apply. Those principles no longer apply. What brothers don't see that out here it's the same thing, it's just not walled in. It's crazy shit, right? Crazy shit. Crazy, man. Fat Rat said, man, Pope, what's good, my bro? Peace to you and the family. You're going to say, Fat Rat, man, in charting a course for liberation, it is imperative that we align ourselves strategically with organizations and movements that have forged ahead in areas. Sorry about that. That have forged ahead in areas we have not. A vetting process is necessary, and as it should be. As it should be. Because again, y'all, we got a lot of internal subversion jumping off, man, in these communities. I say vet them once, vet them twice, vet them at least 3 times, man. That's just that's just all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. And not only that, man, man, vet vet everything. And you go back, man, 10 years, you vet everything and do it more than once. Shit. You know. Real shit, man. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious as hell. You're going to say, Fat Rat Man, and clear boundaries where we have differences. There will be disagreements in philosophy, technique, etc. But sincerity and objectives should be paramount. And where certain ground has been covered, and I hate when it be breaking off Fat Rat. I gotta wait for it to come. So I'll read that whole piece over again. But again, man, you're making grand points, man. I think solid points in terms of, how you're referencing or prefacing how we need to go about getting done what needs to be done, how certain organizations should and very well could play a major role or part, in our development, of this process. I have one question I want to ask you in terms of that, us aligning ourselves strategically, with organizations and movements. Are those organizations and movements we are to strategically align ourselves with Black organizations and movements? Or is there different organizations allowed or a part of this get out? I'm curious. How do you see that playing out? Okay, so let me read this part because it came up now. And clear boundaries where we have differences. Well, let me start over, as a matter of fact. In charting a course for liberation, it is imperative that we align ourselves strategically with organizations and movements that have forged ahead in areas we have not. A vetting process is necessary, and clear boundaries where we have differences. There will be disagreements in philosophy, technique, etc. But sincerity in objectives should be paramount. And where certain ground has been covered, we join for increased momentum. The goal is to get all of ours. We can divide it after we get it. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And again, my question, only question I have for you is in terms of this alignment, this strategic alignment with organizations and movements. Are they of the melanated persuasion, or are they some everybody, anybody? That was my question. Because I have to say, when thinking about a statement like that, one thing I recognize with our people is that we align ourselves so-called strategically with outsiders who, for lack of a better expression, who know how to play the game, who know how to manipulate, who deal in machination, who plot, and you can't tell our people that they mean us no good, because they'll come back and say, oh, well, they did this, that, and the third. Yeah, that's the way that game goes. You're supposed to, but I don't know, there's a lot to that, man. There's a lot to it. A lot of these people rub elbows with their people, little black hat people that are doing atrocious things. They're tied in. They have a philosophy. They support, a lot of what we see, in international news. They support that, a lot of those organizations, man, I say, man, don't trust them. They work from the same blueprint as a Judith Shore does. They rub elbows with that 3 Alphabet organization, that'll tear you down and break you, counsel you, if you say anything anti-sin. You feel me? So I say, man, yeah, I'm asking that for a reason. Who do we align with? You know, if I was asked that question, I would say just ourselves. Just ourselves. You know, just ourselves. All the way up to the point where we've established our system, our program, to where there's no, you know, there's no need for the assistance or the support, you know, of somebody outside of us to get our job or get our thing done. Part of our problem has been we've welcomed organizations, movements, and groups of people into our get down, and they've torn them down from the inside out. You know? So yeah, I'm just curious to know. Okay, you gave me an answer. Haha, nepotism. Hey, all right. Okay, you say nepotism, bub. You ain't got to tell me what the meaning is, my brother. But I love it. I love the fact that you dropped it up in there for those who don't know. And see, that's the thing about Mahindas, right? That's what they do. That's what they do. That's how they've gotten to where they are. You know, get a melanated, individual, canned or cut, dismissed, slide one on in there. Next thing you know, man, the whole department is there, whole family. Yeah. So you say nepotism, bub. That means everything is family first. If a pack of bears went to donate skins, we can take it. No strings attached. It is solely about us. Let me read that again. If a pack of bears went to donate skins, we can take it. No strings attached. It is solely about us. You're going to say, man, I don't rock with nobody else. But for instance, the Arabs have quality food sources established, and our people lack it. So we can do business with those entities that our businesses don't work against us. Okay, let me read that part again. The Arabs have quality food sources established, and our people lack it. So we can do business with those entities that our business doesn't work. Yeah, that our business doesn't work against us. Okay, got you. Yeah, there's a lot, man. But I agree with what you say in that respect in terms of the nepotism. Nepotism matters, and this is what everyone else has done. They're in the position they're in because they practice that seriously, and they've practiced it for ages, and not just the black hat people. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what we lack. That's what we lack. I'm looking at, so when I check out like international news, I tend to focus more on the Sahel, the AES, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, right? A little bit about Chad, maybe Senegal, these states are slowly but surely waking up as well, right? They're rising up. But I noticed about the Sahel states, how they have developed a system that, man, it should be the envy of all other African states on the continent, man. I don't understand. Well, I understand why they aren't following suit, but it should be the envy, man, as much as it is a thorn in the side of former colonizers. You know what I mean? The shit they're doing, man, It's never been seen before. Maybe way back in antiquity when we had, wasn't no interruptions or interference, in terms of our sovereignty or what we did or what our ancestors did as people. The shit they're doing, man, is exceptional, and it is it's inspiring, man. It's some hard shit. Not only are they growing their own food now, raising their own cattle, everything that they're starting to do, they're starting to do for themselves, providing for themselves. And I only mention that to say, damn, it would be something else if we had our shit together. We were in a situation, a position to then say, okay, let's reach out to our people and we need this X, Y, and Z. Can you accommodate us? Is the source of this product, man, such a standard where, hey, we ain't where, I think about that type of shit, man. I do. Fat Rat, man, you're going to say, man, until we establish our independence solely, we have to be pragmatic about our needs. So you did answer my question in terms of how we, will go about dealing with organizations, movements and groups of people or people, you did answer that. You mentioned, Arabs as having or as being a resource, of obtaining, legitimate, foodstuffs, I get that. And so yeah. I'm weighing the term Arab. I'm just trying to get to, make sure I don't want to say nothing that sounds ignorant of me. I kind of do that often, but it's okay. But yeah, I get it. Okay, you're going to say, man, nobody on the African continent had a brighter idea than Gaddafi, bro. Nobody. And cigarettes bury unalived him. Yes. I'm not sure we understand the impact of what that represents to the international community of Black folks in America joining into the diaspora. Yeah, you got a point there. His plan was a threat. One, we both know that, right? Yeah. It was so multifaceted, man. But they had to. Yeah, because he's about to destroy the whole system. Now, what's the trip is the fact that you mentioned that, and then I'm talking about the Sahel states. This is their agenda, and I understand why they're going about it at a pace that is much slower, than I could imagine. I'm sure there's a lot of things they have to get in order first, but I've read where that is the intent, and not only that, creating its own, but also the reaching out to us here in terms of, okay, how can we help? So yeah, in terms of what Gaddafi wanted, it remains to be seen as to whether or not that could be matched, and shit, let alone to see if that could come to fruition, So that's like a twofer right now that's up in the air. But yeah, he was on it. Imagine that though, man. Imagine that, right? We have brothers and sisters here, man, who I think are one more than capable of helping to create and or establish our own get down. Then also we have brothers and sisters here who are qualified to create not a blueprint, but wise enough, intelligent enough to create a system again that would take us out of this situation, man, like, you know, like fast, like quick. I think though the problem is, again, you had mentioned something about vetting. That's one of the problems, you know, one of the issues. Because there's so much at play, man, in terms of how our people tend to work with them people in that respect, especially that, you know, these individuals would be at jeopardy. You know, we probably see the last of them. You know what I'm saying? But I think the ability to do everything that you just talked about, it is here. It's here with us. We can do this. We can do this. It's the matter, again, though, the matter is start putting these pieces in place. You know, I think that's the thing. That's the thing. You say, man, Fat Rat Playboy say, man, well, of course, we are the original desert Arabs. But I wasn't going there. I'm saying it in the conventional sense of what Arabs are in charge of today. Buying from them doesn't put guns in the hands of our enemies. I know, I get that, and I if I gave the impression, I thought, no, because I understand, you know, I was trying to explain, man, there are melanated Arabs as well as there are, you know, let it be told, Caucasian, you know, white Arabs. You know, that wasn't the issue, you know. My concern is, okay, it's a whole nother vein in conversation, I think. But I get your point. I get your point in terms of what they have access to, and you know, not only that, but their affiliations, you know what I mean, might, you know, align with whatever, you know, we need, you know, in place to work with them. So I got it. All right. and hopefully not buying from them would put, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not in their hands anyway. They have enough. Hey, Frederick has to be what it do, bro. Right back to you for salutes, man. Peace and prosperity to you and your fam, bro. Good to see you here, man. Out and about, hanging out. That's a good look, man. Appreciate you. Fat Rat Playboy said, man, if you are living in Africa of African descent, conscious and working towards liberation, and you see this massive effort of Black people in the Democratic Party who, you know, cannot be trusted. Oh, right. Based on, yeah, man. Now, to that point, because that's significant, and you're talking about somebody on the outside looking in, right? To that point, in terms of us who see the shit and we're in it, before we even get to what we're talking about, hey man, a whole lot has to be dismantled. A lot of people have to be removed in the sense of what, you know, they're used to being seated or removed, you know, or how that process worked. You know what I mean? You had to, hey man, we had this conversation last week, I think, and we were talking about the whole guard has to change. I mean, everybody have to go. And then not only that, but before we even get rid of, are you those who we're sending to replace them? Man, their minds have to be cold in the respect or sense that, man, can nothing can thwart me and my mission. You know what I mean? Nothing. Yeah, our brothers across the waters, hell yeah, I would be the same way, wouldn't you? You know, I would be like, hey, hell no, man. You know, I would be that way. Yeah. Okay, let me read the whole thing because the rest of it just came back. You say, if you are living in Africa of African descent, conscious and working towards liberation. And you see this massive effort of Black people in the Democratic Party who, you know, cannot be trusted based on Cigarettes Berry unloving the number 2 man for our global liberation is kind of dangerous for us. Unaliving. I got you. I got you. But yeah, man. That would be like, yeah, man, why? Yeah, man. Yeah. Why do that? Why even run the risk? And they all had an end on it. They all understood what was happening. They all agreed upon it. All of them. In fact, some of them went over there, man, not on a junket per se, but as ambassador or just going to see what, you know, make it like, oh, we're going to see what's, you know, the developments over there are and da-da-da-da. And all the time they were going to spy and bring back information and all this shit. So, yeah, I could get the reluctance of, you know, people saying, oh, you know, hell to the no. Hell to the no. We not no. You know, and then, yeah, Cigarette B, man, one of the coldest things he did. But again, so we understand doing what he's told. That wasn't no concept of his, you know. You know. Was not his idea. But I get your drift, man. There's a lot of work to be done, no doubt. A whole lot of work to be done. Just to get to the point where we can establish trust, you know, a relationship with our people based upon, man, what they see going on over here, you know, and again, they're on some more shit now. They're not even that colonial shit or that colonizing shit. That shit is out the damn door. I just saw one today where they told them no more of these judicial robes and shit. You know, we ain't wearing that shit no more. And we wearing that wig around me and shit. You know, kind of laughed when I saw that. But now, just thinking about what you're saying, Ferrat, in respect to, you know, our guy, man, at a lib, and then cigarette guy and all that, and then everybody is witnessing in terms of our politicians and how they're carrying on, how they're untrustworthy or whatever, some people down or whatever. I caught something today, and it fucked me up to see it. I went into the comments, and it shocked me to see how many people believe the propaganda, or just the fact that they made themselves look good and made. I'm talking about Cuba, and they're going after Raul, right? Castro. They're talking about they're going to go and arrest him, you know. So Marco Rubio, he did a thing today where he spoke in Spanish, but they translated in English, you know, in the caption. And hey, man, he painted this picture that, again, if you're ignorant of the history of what took place over there, man, or what's been taking place since 1959, you would have bought this shit hook, line, and sinker. Americans are eating this shit up, right? I'm shocked to see this shit. They say, man, the Cuban government, this, that, and the third, don't care about you, man. Look how they've ruined your economy. You're poor and you're in a position you have no electricity because of the, you know what I mean, man, the dude went on and on. And as he's talking, I'm like, whoa, this some bold shit, some grand lies they telling. I mean, again, if anybody knows, if you really know the history of what's been done to them people since 1959, since they ran Batista out of there, you know, and see, the history is a cold history. Anyway, man, they've been under oppression, or they've been suppressed as a government and under the oppression of the American government. America has enacted sanctions, embargoes, and bans on this country for 66 years. And you want to wonder how they even last that long. You know, there was the help, of course, of Venezuela. Hugo Chavez looked out for them. You know, Russia had looked out for them. You know what I mean? Other countries had looked out for them, you know, helped them, you know, get along. But the whole destabilization of the island nation is as a result of what the United States did to it. It purposely crippled and destabilized the economic structure of that country. And they blamed it on communism. They said the Castro family was getting rich, and they have a business over there. I forget the name of it. This business is lavish, is living high on a hog, and they don't care about it. Oh man, I said, damn, man, that's some cold shit. How they, you know, but again, it's textbook propaganda. Textbook propaganda. Same way with Gaddafi. The same shit, same spill, the same lies. And again, what shocked me was the same reaction from the American people. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. You know, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. But in any event, I think they're about to run up in there, man, and try to take this boy, man. The man old is Methuselah. Well, he's old. But I think, though, there's a population in Cuba, man, that's not going to go for that shit. You know, I mean, that might sound more, you know, incredulous than it really is, but because of how they went and took Maduro from Venezuela, and they had to kill the Cuban soldiers because it was as though the Cuban soldiers were going to give them a fight, you know. But you tend to think, okay, would they be able to do that to Raul? I think his name Raul Castro. Would the same thing apply? You know, who knows? But I think they're preparing to go up there and grab this guy. But the lie they told in terms of the island nation's history since Batista was ran out of there, who's an aristocrat, you know, a puppet for the United States and big corporations, you know, over here, produce, agriculture corporations, oil, you know. Anyway, long story short, man, the same shit that plays out with these world leaders, these leaders of sovereign nations, man. The same script and blueprint is used with all of them. Again, Gaddafi. You know, they had to create this scenario to where, you know, it justified their going in there. And it was all cap. It was all a lie. Saddam Hussein, whole thing, lie, right? What's that guy name out of Panama? Noriega. Emmanuel Noriega. You know, the shit is crazy, man. The shit is crazy. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there because I thought about it. You mentioning all this, man. Gaddafi made me think about, you know, these guys over here, man, all these island nations where America's in the, you know, the Western Hemisphere just trying to take over. Well, they're going to take over, you know. But yeah, it's all the same to me, man. All the same to me. Fair right, you're going to say, man, Harriet Tubman, a page from her, I free 1,000. Could have freed another 1,000 had they. Yeah, I caught that today. She said I could have freed another 1,000 had they known they were slaves. Cold, man. Everybody can't go, bud. I hear you, bro. Cold. I just read that today, man. I swear. I said, oh, that's some heat. I could have saved another 1,000 had they known they were slaves, man. A lot of us ain't gonna be able to make it. I hear you, bro. In spite of what we say, man, that's just concrete, some positivity, some solid shit. These slaves, man, ain't gonna believe they slaves, man. They can continue. They're gonna continue on. They're gonna keep on being slaves, man. Everybody can't go, man. And that's fucked up. But that's true. You're going to say, man, still gives Black America a global look. Folks said, man, it is so easy to go against the black people. Excuse me. It is so easy to go against black people. What I learned in prison, I could have never learned in the streets, to know that the power wasn't in the numbers, but it lied in the cultural identity of a group of black men who shared the same heart and spirit. I mean, just men, overly courageous brothers, right? I mean, man, I swear, man, I ain't met them type of warriors in man since, man. These dudes wasn't no joke, man. Real spit, man. You say, man, we have to overcome so much. And when we do get it, the setback is waiting for you. Let me read that again. We have to overcome so much. And when we do get it, the setback is waiting for you. But my fight is forever and my love is strong. Yeah, man. And again, our people, the first ones want to hurry up and help them to knock you down. Huh? Are you talking to me? I'm being, let me see what time it is. All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to get ready to go, man. But yeah, man, it's just a lot. It's a lot, man. There's a lot that we are faced with, that we go through, a lot that we've already experienced and more to come. It's, again, man, it's just mind-boggling to realize, man, brothers still ain't got it. Like Harriet said, you know, they still don't get it. Cold thing, man. Cold thing. Let me play this thing one more time, y'all. For those who didn't catch it, man, like I say, it was a beautiful piece, man. I want to share it one more time, and I'm gone. Get a bar of this.
This isn't even open.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those Queen's Guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan Khanate in Great Tartary, an advanced Asiatic civilization they tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibachi nobility, the true Obashis, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Hibachi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were fail melanin, mutants who had to glue animal fur and lamb's wool to their skulls just to mimic the lords they deposed. That's our shit they're cosplaying. When Bob Marley sang about crazy bald heads, he was exposing the castrato class. He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone and their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today, these bloodlines, the Orsini, Medici, and Rothschilds, align with the satanic banking cartels that funded Epstein's List and global human trafficking. It's all part of a gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory of the ancient Moors and Hebrews. The high-status nobility of the millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant of a peak human being. Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair, those massive, beautiful afros, as a sign of supreme status and genetic frequency. They've tried to erase every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system, and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock, because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock? That's ours. They repurpose your palaces after the historical resets. They wear your crowns and mimic your hair because they know that crown was the mark of a God-man on earth. These are...
All right. I find that deep, man. I find that to be some powerful shit, I have to say. Antonio Anthony, what it do, loved one? I find that to be some powerful stuff, man. Peace and prosperity to you and your fam, bro. Good to see you here, man. Yeah. Real spit, man. Fat Rat said, man, can you imagine how much selling out we would experience if we limited ourselves in terms of resources the way Cuba did to maintain our sovereignty? Laugh out loud, chicken and a biscuit. Again, can you imagine how much selling out we would experience if we limited ourselves in terms of resources the way Cuba did to maintain our sovereignty? Laugh out loud, chicken and a biscuit. All right, Antonio, again, man, peace and prosperity, bro. All right, Poke, I see you, man. All right, y'all, I'm going to cut it out, man. I'm going to cut it loose right now, man. Hey, man. The ancestors will it. I'll be here. You know. I'll be here. And may so you. All right. Love yourselves, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Love that brother or sister. You may not know it, that they need it. Help take care of that brother or sister. You may not know that they need that love or that support, that help. All right. Power's in the people, y'all. This thing is actually happening. Let's focus on the focus. Let's prepare ourselves. We can talk about it. At the same time, let's get it done. Let's focus on the focus. You are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Power is in the people. One love, y'all. Have a good rest of your night, people. Peace.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurston writing future history. From the Apollo to the Borough to the Sphere, where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transformed suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant. This is once a less than half the stats and messages. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive plot to the applause for polls. Need your data, tropes, and counsel any problem when the wet just wanna build the season bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times. Plead the markets off the main. Make it honor fans. Turn the neck and love the durn. Suffer like a kesha. You were from the preaching up on side as each alone. Bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vets. Someone the very inch on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the Bonavin. If wait something for the mark, make the key to pull the trumpets on the boards to the singer land is carried open slowly. Keep us looking on my mother, break your generosity for the he and let the peasant be. It's every time we keep a spawn.